Land reforms in India. Initiatives, achievements and challenges. About land reforms in India. Land reforms in India aim to address land ownership and equity issues. At independence, the land tenure system was dominated by intermediaries like zamindars, leading to low agricultural productivity. Reforms focused on redistributing land to actual tillers, aiming to improve productivity, reduce inequality, and promote social justice in rural areas. Objectives of land reforms in India: enhancing agricultural productivity, ensure farmers and tenants have secure land ownership to motivate investments in modern farming techniques and sustainable agricultural practices. Promoting social justice, address historical inequities in land ownership to eliminate exploitation, reduce rural poverty, and foster an egalitarian society. Empowering tillers of the land, establish peasant proprietorship with the principle of land to the tiller, reducing absentee landlordism and ensuring direct control by cultivators. Boosting rural economies, redistribute income and land resources to small farmers and landless laborers. STMLTNG demand for goods and services in rural areas. Empowering marginalized groups and women, protect the land rights of marginalized communities, including scheduled tribes and women, ensuring their inclusion in agrarian and economic development. Modernizing land governance, digitalize land records and simplify procedures to enhance transparency, resolve disputes, and strengthen rural economic infrastructure. Land reforms in India, key initiatives and challenges. Abolition of the zamindari system. Objective: eliminate intermediaries and establish direct revenue collection from cultivators, ensuring equitable land distribution and empowering the actual tillers of the soil. Key features: abolish the zamindari system, removing intermediaries between the cultivators and the state. Change made cultivators directly responsible for paying land revenue to the government, bypassing zamindars. Achievements: empowered cultivators. The reform transferred around 63 million hectares of land from zamindars to cultivators, establishing a direct relationship between them and the economic and political impact. The abolition of zamindars' rights diminished their political power and economic influence, effectively ending the exploitative practices that had existed for centuries under the zamindari system. Planning Commission's estimate: it was reported that around 20 million tenants were brought into direct relationships with the government after the reform. Challenges: manipulation of land records. Zamindars use strategies like registering land under fictitious names or relatives' names to avoid redistribution, reducing the effectiveness of the reform. Delayed implementation. States took 4 to 9 years to implement the reform, providing intermediaries ample time to prepare for legal loopholes and prevent the full benefits of land redistribution. Tenant evictions. In states like Punjab, over 500,000 tenants were evicted by former zamindars who were able to retain ownership of large tracts by declaring that they would cultivate the land personally. Tenancy reforms. Objective: provide security of tenure, regulate rents, and enable land ownership for tenants, thus protecting them from exploitative practices by landowners. Key features: introduced laws to regulate tenancy, ensuring the security of tenure for tenants, and in some states, conferred ownership rights to tenants. The reforms aim to eliminate arbitrary evictions and ensure fair rents. Achievements: tenure security and ownership. In states like West Bengal and Kerala, tenancy reforms resulted in the transfer of land ownership to tenants, making them landowners and securing their livelihood. Welfare improvement. The reforms helped improve the welfare of tenants by protecting them against arbitrary evictions, and in some cases, tenants were given ownership rights over the land they cultivated. Impact in states: Kerala, West Bengal, Maharashtra. and Assam accounted for more than 60% of successful tenancy reforms, ensuring protection for millions of tenants. Challenges: limited tenant inclusion. Some tenancy reform acts excluded sharecroppers from the definition of tenants, reducing the effectiveness of the reform. Uttar Pradesh excluded sharecroppers while West Bengal amended its act to include them. Misuse of provisions by landlords. The reform allowed landowners to retain land if they claimed they would cultivate it personally. The term personal cultivation was often misinterpreted to favor landlords and harm tenants. Land records issues. In many regions, poor land records and corrupt practices in maintaining them hindered the full implementation of tenancy rights, preventing many tenants from exercising their legal rights. Land Ceiling Acts. Objective: limit the amount of land an individual or family can own, redistributing surplus land to landless families and marginalized groups such as scheduled castes, SCs, and scheduled tribes, STs. Key features: introduced laws to set upper limits on landholdings based on land type and productivity, declaring any surplus land above the ceiling to be redistributed among the landless. Achievements: surplus land redistribution. By March 2003, 73.36 lakh acres of surplus land were declared and 52.93 lakh acres were redistributed to 56.73 lakh beneficiaries, of which 36% were SCs and 15% were STs. Prevention of further concentration of land. The reforms helped curb the concentration of land in the hands of a few, especially in areas with high landholding concentration, thus promoting equity in land distribution. Challenges: loopholes and evasion. Wealthy landowners found ways to circumvent the ceiling laws, such as through benami, proxy transfers where land was transferred to relatives, or fictitious individuals to evade land ceiling limits. Limited impact. Despite the redistribution, the total land distributed was less than 2% of the total cultivated land, thus having a minimal long-term impact on land equity. Across the country, implementation challenges, corruption, lack of political will, and absence of proper land records in many states led to poor implementation of the land ceiling acts, preventing many deserving families from receiving other land reform initiatives in India. Unique Land Parcel Identification Number, ULPN. Objective: introduce a unique 14-digit identification system for land parcels using geographical coordinates, latitude and longitude, to ensure precision in land records. Key feature: resolves land disputes through accurate and standardized parcel identification while enabling integration with government schemes to improve property taxation and detect fraud. Achievement: implemented in 29 states UTs, aiding transparency and efficiency in land administration. Challenges: integrating legacy manual records is challenging, especially in rural areas, while limited infrastructure and low awareness hinder adoption in some states. National Generic Document Registration System. And as objective: provide a uniform, transparent, and streamlined process for registering land-related documents across all states. Key feature: provides an online platform with digital payment options, ensuring transparency, reducing intervention, and enabling interstate portability of land documents to boost ease of doing business. Achievement: adopted by 18 states UTs, significantly reducing delays and improving user experience. Challenges: full implementation across all regions is hindered by uneven adoption, particularly in remote areas, due to inadequate technical support and infrastructure gaps. Integration with e-courts. Objective: link land records with the judiciary to reduce land disputes and expedite the resolution of legal cases. Key feature: provides courts with access to up-to-date registration data, ensuring transparency in ownership claims, minimizing record duplication and enhancing judicial efficiency for swift adjudication. Achievement: successfully integrated in 26 states UTs, reducing pendency and improving legal outcomes. Challenges: complexities in merging historical data with digital systems due to varying formats, coupled with inadequate technical expertise for maintaining integration. In many areas, transliteration of land records into Schedule 8 languages. To address linguistic barriers in land governance, the government, in collaboration with CDAC Pune, is transliterating records of rights into 22 languages listed in Schedule 8 of the Constitution. This initiative is currently being implemented in 17 states UTs, enhancing accessibility and transparency in land record management. Right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition. Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act, 2013. Acquisition. 2013. Replaced the 1994. To ensure compensation and rehabilitation for landowners. Key provisions in transparency, community participation, mandates, consultation, local governments, service. Before land acquisition, ensuring affected communities are involved. Compensation. Landowners receive compensation for market value in rural areas and twice in urban areas. Rehabilitation. Resettlement. Provides provisions for resettling displaced families, including land allocation, job training, and infrastructure in new areas. Social assessment. Requires an assessment to evaluate acquisition on communities, ensuring the project all stakeholders. Private requires consent from 80% people for land acquisitions meant for private companies or public partnerships. Way forward. Awareness creation. Empower farmers by educating them on their rights and official procedures and provide guidelines in local languages to bridge gaps with landowners. Collective action. Facilitate the formation of farmer groups and cooperatives, including women-centric self-help groups, to enhance bargaining power and protection. Preventing loss of farmland. Implement debt relief measures and amend property laws to safeguard farmers from distress sales and protect farmland. Comprehensive reform package. Introduce a holistic land reform package with easy credit facilities, subsidies, and infrastructure development to support farmers. Gender-sensitive legislation. Ensure women's land rights and equal access to credit and subsidies. Periodic assessment. Conduct regular evaluations to assess the impact and effectiveness of land reforms and make necessary adjustments. Policy focus on small farm holdings. Promote policies favoring small farm holdings and consider land tax reforms to encourage the redistribution of large land parcels. Fast-track land dispute courts. Establish fast-track courts to resolve land disputes swiftly, with a special focus on cases involving marginalized communities. Public-private partnerships, PPPs, for wasteland development. Utilize cultural wastelands through PPPs. And government support, ensuring efficient utilization of land resources. The Supreme Court of India in the case of Internet and Mobile Association of India versus Reserve Bank of India, decided, as per order dated March 4, 2020, has held that the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, circular dated April 6, 2018, virtually banning cryptocurrencies and their trade in India, is violative of Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of India, 1950. Constitution of India. What is cryptocurrency? Black small square. A cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that uses cryptography for security. Black small square. It is a decentralized currency, meaning it is not controlled by any government or institution. Black small square. Some examples of cryptocurrencies include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. How does cryptocurrency work? Black small square. Transactions with cryptocurrency are recorded on a public digital ledger called blockchain. This ledger is maintained by a network of computers around the world, and each new transaction is verified and added to the blockchain by these computers. This decentralization and use of cryptography make it difficult for anyone to manipulate the currency or the transactions recorded on the blockchain. Black small square. To use cryptocurrency, individuals or businesses must first acquire a digital wallet, which is a software program that stores the user's public and private keys. These keys are used to send and receive cryptocurrency, and they are also used to verify transactions on the blockchain. Black small square. Users can acquire cryptocurrency through a process called mining, which involves using computer power to solve complex mathematical equations, which validate and record transactions on the blockchain, return for a certain amount of cryptocurrency. What is blockchain technology? Black small square. Blockchain technology is a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions across a network of computers. Black small square. Each block in the chain contains a number of transactions, and every time a new transaction occurs on the blockchain, a record of that transaction is added to every participant's ledger. The decentralized nature of technology ensures that no single entity can alter or delete previous transactions, providing a high degree of security and transparency. Black small square. Blockchain is the foundation of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, but it has many potential uses beyond digital currencies. What is the legal status of cryptocurrency? Black small square. In India. The legal status of cryptocurrency in India is currently in a state of flux. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has issued several warnings against the use of cryptocurrencies, stating that they pose risks to investors and are not legal tender. In 2018, the Supreme Court struck down a circular of Reserve Bank of India, which bans financial institutions from dealing in digital or cryptocurrencies. In 2022, the Government of India mentioned in the Union Budget 2022 to 23 that the transfer of any virtual currency cryptocurrency asset will be subject to 30% tax deduction. The government has also set up a panel to explore the potential use of blockchain technology and the possibility of issuing a central bank digital currency, CBDC. Black small square. Elsewhere. At present, El Salvador and the Central African Republic, CAR, are the only two countries in the world where Bitcoin functions as a legal currency. However, many countries have taken steps to recognize and regulate the use of certain cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. Some countries, such as Japan and South Korea, have issued regulations for cryptocurrency exchanges. Nations like Germany and Switzerland have recognized Bitcoin as a legal means of payment. Other countries, such as China and Russia, have taken a more cautious approach and have imposed restrictions on the use of cryptocurrencies. What is India's central bank digital currency? Black small square. The central bank digital currency, CBDC, pilot launched by the RBI in the retail segment has components based on blockchain technology. Black small square. CBDCs are a digital form of paper currency and, unlike cryptocurrencies that operate in a regulatory vacuum, these are legal tenders issued and backed by a central bank. Black small square. It is the same as a fiat currency and is exchangeable one-to-one with the fiat currency. Black small square. Digital currency refers to the digital version of the Indian rupee, which is also known as the digital rupee or e-rupee.